Good morning, another beautiful day to be uploading videos. Making thumbnails for YouTube is probably one of the more fun parts about YouTube. So here is how I make my thumbnails. I don't have the greatest thumbnails in the world, but I like them and I can usually do them in under 10 minutes. Here's how I do it. Alright, we're going to be doing a Minecraft thumbnail. The theme is I go into the jungle and I come out and I start exploring the water area. It's like a Caribbean kind of area, so I'm going to do a pirate themed thumbnail. So let's start with the picture. People respond to faces better, and when they see a face over and over, then they start to identify that creator. That's just kind of why I do that. Alright, so I'm going to pose like I'm exploring the Caribbean. Alright, now hopping over to the computer. The first thing that you're gonna do, 1920 by 1080, 300 DPI. Blank canvas. Here, I'm gonna go over here now. I'm gonna plug my phone in to my computer. I think it was this one. Okay, toss that on the desktop. And then we're gonna open it. I will start with the, path selection tool? Oh, the pen tool, sorry. And just loosely go around and outline myself to use. And you don't have to be perfect. You can just, for what I do, if you just use an eraser tool around some of the places you messed up in, it's really not a big deal. Learning how to use it really just takes practice, and it isn't very difficult. I'm a super novice at Photoshop, so if I can do it, you certainly can. And you know, if there's any places that you know you're gonna mess around with, for example, my hand, because I'm probably gonna have something in my hand, it doesn't really need to be perfect. Alright, so I make my selection, I gotta copy it, and then paste it, right? So there we are. Now I am in my thumbnail. So since the color on this looks so terrible, I'm gonna start off with going to raw, camera raw filter. I do it this way, it shouldn't be that hard. So it's very red, so let's bring the temperature down a little bit. If you're not familiar with this kind of stuff, basically just photography, then just mess around with it until it looks good. I mean, that's really all there is to it. I don't get too worried about making like super good color correction, since it's gonna look kind of cartoony for me anyway. However, if you're doing a whole different kind of thing, that may not be the case. Well, now I don't like it. What happened? It's very pink looking. Alright, that looks okay. It looks better at least, but it's good enough. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and hit the eraser and just clean this up. Maybe make my head look a little less of a stupid shape. Yeah, see, we did a pretty sloppy one here. Amazing. Now that is just fantastic. Ooh, beautiful. Yep, that's exactly how my wrist looks. And you know, when you're working around the face, you can shave yourself off a few pounds if you want. I'm perfectly happy with the way I am, just like everybody. There's probably really 1,000 better ways to do it, but I swear to God, this is how I do it every time. Learning hotkeys is super helpful. That's how you become pro. Okay, so Alt, select our spot, and I'm just gonna get rid of this cat hair because it just doesn't look good. You don't have to be a perfectionist, but little stuff like that can go a long way. Same if you have like blemishes on your face and stuff like that. You can clean up if you like. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. My forehead's kind of breaking out, so get rid of that. I don't do it as like a vanity thing. I do it because it is more aesthetically pleasing and smoother. It just kind of looks better, you know? It looks less dirty. Now, the other thing that I have is, and this is really important, I have a picture folder, what I call video backgrounds, okay? This is simply a folder full of different 19 by 1080 or whatever, also some PNGs that are different textures. I have like a money one, I have like an explosion, I have this kind of fuzzy thing, I have like some bubbles, I have that kind of thing. This is probably the most important, and this is a PNG burst thing. So having PNGs like that you can lay on top of things like this as well is really helpful for creating textures. Since this is a Minecraft video, I'm going to go ahead and search for Minecraft jungle biome background, but I want a lot of water in it. Okay, that's pretty cool, but that doesn't look very high quality. Yeah, that's not quite high quality enough. Okay, that's pretty cool. As I'm looking at some of this stuff, some ideas kind of pop into my head. I start kind of planning ahead. And so as I pop up, the one thing it's missing is kind of like a pirate ship, you know? What I'm going to do is I saw here, that's cool. I'm going to play with both of them. Now the thing is, if this is low quality in the background, it doesn't necessarily matter that much because chances are I'm going to be covering it with a filter or two. And here, just to make this stand out, I'm going to add my shadow and my outer glow right now. Just double click on your layer and then you can add filters to it. And so you can play around with the outer glow and you can do whatever you want. I've been going with black recently because everyone goes with white and I think black looks pretty nice. I always add a shadow just to give it that bit of contrast, and you can play with a spread or whatever. You can do fancy stuff to make it more interesting. You can give yourself a different angle or whatever. Actually, I should not do any layers yet because we're gonna add stuff in my hand and I want to combine all of that into one layer. I kind of wanted me on the ship, so maybe let's try this. So select all. It should be a PNG. What just happened? Oh, I got a copy. Select all and copy. It should be a PNG, and it is. And then let's flip this horizontally and see if I can fit on the ship. Or maybe we can just Photoshop it into the background. That's even kind of funnier. I think I'll do that because I like that better for some reason. And see, when you have stuff like that, I like to kind of highlight it and see. So our outer glow's too big. And this is just playing around. There we go. So we'll put the white on it. And it kind of looks like I'm looking at it a little bit. And it's good to go in and go out, you know, take a look at how that thumbnail might look. I have an idea. So I'm going to do... Let's see what if there's a pirate hat in Minecraft. I try and find an image that's already angled the right way. But here, so, or it can be flipped easily, you know. But I also use clean PNG, which is a great source for this kind of thing. That's pretty funny. And paste it. So it's so that looks really silly. Silly works for me. Yeah, I mean that. Oh my god, my forehead. So that looks very silly. It just looks stupid. I kind of want to see what that looks like. Actually, that's pretty cool. This is the kind of stuff that starts to take up a lot of time because you just play around and it's shaped better. This is a good example of when like a drop shadow and an outer layer can really make a big difference in standing out from the background. Very important. Okay, I can already tell that's gonna be it because that looks way more piratey and it fits my head absolutely perfectly. That's perfect. I love that. Position it just perfectly so it just looks just as ridiculous as possible. I want to make it just too big. I think we should do a Minecraft sword. Well, luckily this is easy. Delete. Select all. Copy. So it's always good to save. It always sucks losing your work. Okay, now this is where it's gonna get a little embarrassing because I don't really have a great way of doing this. So to make it look like I'm holding it, a quick and dirty way is literally, I will just erase the handle and I'll pay attention to where my fingers are. It'll look like they're wrapped around it, kind of. So this is probably the worst way to do this. I can guarantee there's much better, more professional Photoshop methods to Photoshop something into someone's hand like this. But for our purposes, I'm not worried about it. Good enough. And it's kind of funny that it looks so short. And I want to do a torch too. Same thing. I gotta figure out a way to do like a glow effect on that thing, because how do I do that? How do I add a glow like that? Let's see if there's a PNG that's just a glow. I have to do all these terrible workarounds because I'm such a novice, so I think I find really complicated ways to do things that might otherwise be easy. What do you mean you're not the right type of document? What kind of coward are you? That's it, baby. Yes, that looks great. Let's turn the opacity down. That is exactly what I was looking for. It looks like it's glowing. That is so freaking cool. Alright, all these layers are getting merged. Alright, so now I should be able to do... Okay. The glow can't be part of this. And let's merge these three, and then let's see if we can do... Yes, there it is. That's it. Alright, so there's our outer glow. Now I want to look at black. I like black better. It's all going to come down to your personal choice, but... Alright, so this is what we have so far. So here's kind of how I make things more interesting. I have my pictures. I already talked about this, but I like using this thing. The way I use it is a little weird. Since it's kind of like a vortex thing, you want to center it around something, right? I usually center it around like a point of interest. In this case, I'm going to flip it upside down, and it'll be pretty clear why. See how that's much less dense? Now here's why it's so cool. You can go to Hue Saturation and create Clipping Mask above it, which will only affect this layer, and then I can drag this slider and change the hue of the whole thing. See, like that. That is a very aquatic looking, and you can change the saturation and saturate the crap out of it, undersaturate it, make it... That actually kind of looks like a pretty cool mist. You can add a lot of more stuff, and then here's the other thing, opacity, right? So if I change that down to 20%, 30%, you can see how you can make it very subtle if you like. I like it a little higher on this. So I'll go to this and I'll show you why this is so cool. It's the same thing as... Alright, so you can do this, basically. If I want to centralize myself, I can do that. And now I have, like, going on an adventure, right? And what you can do is make it a lot more subtle. We need another element in here, and so that will be kind of our centralized point for that. You can do a gradient overlay, and you can do an inner glow for this. You can use this to add color to it if you want. So now we got a few things going on here, right? A little more interesting of an image, and of course we're going to add our outer glow and shadow to that. Outer glow I don't like in black. That's a cool thumbnail, and I think the lighting kind of works out. We need some text. Okay, so fonts are one thing. You can go on to defont. I like big bold letters, and the one I really like for it is there's Bob's New, I think is a very professional, clean looking one. Couture, which is just a really bold, in your face one. Treasure Hunting. Yeah, I like that. And here, we're gonna do this. I'm a pirate, and I'll do the RuneScape UF text, which is, it's almost funnier with that uncapitalized. And hunting for treasure, we'll give it outer glow. I always try and do that on text. If you notice, now it stands out a lot from the background. I like the way that looks. I think I'm happy with that. I really don't know if I like the I'm a pirate line. Yeah, that's stupid. I'm not adding that. Okay, so I go to save it as JPEG quality, I don't know, 9. And that is a very funny thumbnail. I love that. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out this episode of Minecraft. We're gonna be looking for treasure, if you can't tell. I'll see you later.